to Fox Beach.
I'm sorry, I had to just still do this.
Trying unsuccessfully
because it said a second ago, watch as 100 houses burn to the ground.
To evacuate in order to protect their home.
When I yelled at him for not calling.
In Ocean City, it flooded and people were in boats.
He was okay. You know,
they said. It still hasn't shown me anything
though.
though.
Everyone's trying to get in touch with him. His phones aren't working. No one's answering. He's going right to voice.
October 29th.
Across New York and New Jersey,
the day after Richard's birthday.
And mobile phone towers are down.
Oh yeah, he's dead. He doesn't have those
anymore.
anymore.
When he finally arrives, he's unprepared for the chilling scene before him.
The wall on one side was pushed in. All the cinder blocks were missing of the foundation, and I saw the water, and I said, "Wow, that this house got really destroyed." You know. I made my way down the basement, and it was.
This is how informed we are of reality.
Them, but I didn't have a flashlight, and like I said,
say, can you see?
But there was no sign of his brother or nephew.
What so proudly we hail
In Brooklyn,
as our twilight's last gleam. These broad stripes and bright stars.
Jake had never returned from going out to help his friend Jesse.
I just started calling his cell phone every
streaming.
15 minutes, which I knew didn't make a whole lot of sense.
And
but
my
I didn't know what else to do.
glare
And
adds light to
finally, a man answered his phone, and I said, "Where's my son?" I thought maybe he had been mugged, or why was this man answering his phone? I said, "Where's my son?" And he said, "What's your address?" And I said, "Where's my son?" And he said, "This is Detective Simon. Tell me your address. I am coming over to your apartment."
A short time later, 5 officers arrived, bearing the worst possible news. Jake and his best friend Jesse were killed by a falling tree at 7:45 the previous evening. The emergency services were so overwhelmed they hadn't reached their bodies for nearly 12 hours.
One of my neighbors said it was a disturbance in the force. The force of goodness of Jake and Jesse. Somehow there was a disturbance, like God looked away for a second and something terrible happened.
Neil Filipowicz has still had no luck tracking down his brother and nephew. Neil returns to his brother's damaged home for another look.
Like I said, when I came in, I didn't get very far, and I panned from this way here around with a good flashlight that I had, and I went to the left, and I saw on this area right here a hand, and I was praying, please let that be a doll's hand. Reaching my right hand, I pulled up, and I could see my brother's face, and right behind it was my nephew's.
Chantel's sister Bridget saw her.
And they came up together out of the water.
She said she beat her with her shoes when she saw her to try to get her.
His right hand around his back, and my nephew was holding him around.
Bridget Anderson with Chantel Anderson.
Like in his chest. And I can only think that they knew they were going to die, and they just grabbed a hold of each other. And
I dedicate this candle to them.
I got you.
John left behind his wife Christine and their 2 surviving children. At Breezy Point, residents estimate more than 100 homes have been consumed by fire. Debris and sand are everywhere, yet incredibly, not a single person has died. Thanks in part to the heroic efforts of the local fire volunteers.
Pulling up to the scene of the South Edge and seeing the flames just in the sky, and then walking into the fire. That
Just kidding.
That memory will never leave. And seeing my men, just unrestrained and motivated without any fear, and so dedicated to others and not themselves. It's so outstanding. I'm so proud of them.
Transportation infrastructure has
him
been
or them.
7 subway tunnels are flooded to the roof. 6 bus garages are underwater.
We didn't know at that point. We had no idea the severity of the situation. We knew it was bad. We just didn't know how bad it was.
The Army Corps of Engineers.
Here, this is how bad it was. I'm going to randomly switch through stations, and it's going to tell us how badly it was. And I'm going to do it 1/1000 and then change it each time right now. Watch. I'll just count to myself so you can hear it, though.
You have to understand, salt water is...
Oh, sorry, I'll do this one.
It eats up everything.
5 and 6.
This will not start in...
But you will be dealing with a lot of...
And I started to...
He's finally heading over to the... I don't...
Rain in the fourth.
Pero Laura,
Yo lo único que te quiero...
I mean, she's out there, we don't have a lot of...
Why? You don't...
The father, this...
Eternity Band.
Natación vital de YouTube.
And I learned... Antes esenciales. This who? Me.
Come on. So...
With this unique character.
Mansions in your...
Rug grippers.
It's a moment you work...
Tackling one of the most innovative... And did a 61-week... Perfect time
To change it all up.
What's she? Okay.
Above average once we get rid of that.
42
The
1000.
stock exchanges managed to open 2 days after Sandy, thanks to emergency generators. Not just the city, but the entire region is reeling. It's getting cold, and many homes have no heat. Food deliveries are a problem, and gasoline will have to be rationed. Subway engineers work around the clock to restore service.
The subway system is relatively simple. Staircase, hole in the ground, another staircase, and it just keeps going and going, so we can make the city as mobile and move everyone around as quickly as we possibly can.
Finally, on Friday, fully 4 days after the storm, Con Ed turns on the lights in Lower Manhattan. Life begins to return to normal. But harder hit areas like the New Jersey Shore and Staten Island will take far longer to recover. Still, the city and the world begin to ask, what's next? Was this truly a once-in-a-100-year storm, or is it the beginning of things to come? Did global warming influence the path or severity of this nearly unprecedented storm?
It was like I told you for years, everybody.
A highly unusual track. Typically, the powerful jet stream pushes hurricanes eastward and out to sea.
They're UFOs trying to land.
Left and headed west into the most densely populated region of the continent. One obvious culprit was a strong high-pressure system over the Atlantic, associated with a disturbed and wavy jet stream.
With a wavier jet stream, it's easier for a storm to stagnate or even turn towards the west, towards the coast.
And you have to understand, probably they're thinking that our atmosphere is so much different.
Influenced by the temperature difference between the warm atmosphere at the Earth's equator and the cold air at the North Pole. But Arctic temperatures have been rising, twice as fast as temperatures over the rest of the globe. And some recent studies have found an association between a wavier jet stream and those rising temperatures. So did a warmer Arctic set the stage for Sandy to turn? Most scientists say it's too soon to know for sure.
What we can
I'm telling you, it's a UFO trying to land.
Suggesting that if you remove ice from the Arctic, you see a wavier jet stream of the type that makes it easier for weather systems like Sandy to turn towards the west instead of getting deflected towards the east.
Their propulsion systems are different in their atmospheres because their atmospheres are harsher.
Directly on global warming.
I don't understand. They're trying to understand us. We've wanted them. We look for them. Here we are.
Is affecting the frequency
There they are.
of these destructive storms. As some models show, any relationship between global warming and hurricanes is complicated.
Yeah. Shown, right?
In those models, what happens as the climate warms is that the number of hurricanes actually is more likely to decrease than increase. But at the same time, the hurricanes that there are become more intense. So right now, our models are predicting that hurricanes in a warmer climate will become fewer but more intense.
But there is one undeniable factor that does relate directly to global warming, and contributed to Sandy's destructiveness. Sea level.
Sea level.
The water in the ocean is warmer than it used to be, and warm water takes up more volume. Warmer seas are higher seas. Add to this melting ice at the poles.
There's a thing called a holy sea. It can be taken away from you. Athanasius lost his 5 times.
Years in the New York area. We don't know exactly how fast the sea level will rise, but we know for certain that it will rise.
But he got it back.
It could be as much as several feet
each time
in the next century.
And that means decades from now, a storm like Sandy would be even more devastating.
As you raise those average sea levels, it's like raising the floor of a basketball court. If you don't change the height of the rims, you're going to get more slam dunks just because that average sea level has gotten higher.
This will force coastal cities all over the world to consider hardening their infrastructure, transportation, electrical, and emergency services, and possibly to spend billions of dollars on protective barriers like
trillions.
I think that's
jobs, people. There you go.
For New York City, but for the U.S.
One of the rudest places on earth, I guess, is New York City. They say next to France. But when you go to France, just say, "Pardon, parlez anglais," and show them respect for their language and their country, and you'll have a good time. I guess.
It's one thing else with the water. Water, wind, it all rolls over us.
I don't know if we could go through.
I just want you to see that.
Again, it is enough for a lifetime. I see that wave coming around the corner every night when I go to sleep.
That's not changing
it's
anything.
Not a good feeling.
Oh, that's how I showed the Xbox. But anyways.
As time passes, hurricane names get reused, except for those whose deadly legacy is carved into the history books. There will never be another hurricane named Sandy.
And they didn't even want to show it to us.
The exploration continues online, where you can watch any part of this program again. What's the connection between climate change and hurricanes?
Online where?
How should cities prepare for future storm surges? On NOVA's website, watch short-form videos, hear from experts, and explore interactives. Find us at pbs.org/NOVA. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Next time on Nova, who really built Stonehenge and why?
We're on a mission. We're on a quest.
Finally, the mystery is solved.
What we saw underneath was quite a shock.
And the builders themselves have a new story to tell.
We're beginning to understand in a way we've never been able to do before. We would never have known without these bones.
Secrets of Stonehenge on Nova.
Major funding for NOVA is provided by the David